they head out on track. First up is the Caterham 7 Championship, the top step of Caterham Racing. The academies have had their day. Their championship finished 2 weeks ago in Snetterton. Let's have a chat with our pole sitter. Car number 10 is Harry Heaton, currently second in the championship. Harry, great start to the championship challenge. Can you follow it through?
I'll be trying my damnedest. I'll be trying very hard. So, yeah, looking forward to it around here. It's a wicked circuit for these Caterhams on the slick tyres. We're going quick around here, and it's pretty hard work as well to hang on to the drivers for 20 minutes. So, yeah, we're going to have our work cut out, and looking forward to having the battle.
Now, several people have gotten quite an impressive amount of air off the mountain. Some people need an altimeter rather than wings or anything such like. Just give a bit of an indication of how difficult this track is for those unfamiliar with this circuit.
Well, it's a roller coaster. It is a roller coaster. With these slick tyres, you really do have to hang on. It's a physical challenge as well as a mental challenge for the driver across 20 minutes of racing. But you mentioned the mountain there. You do get a bit of air with these cars, and it's just about hanging on. You feel the wheels spin up as you just press, and you just got to hang on until you drop back down, and then away you go into the essence there. So no, it's great fun.
Awesome stuff. It's as much fun for us to spectate. We wish you the best of luck for your championship challenge that yet to be released, to see if we can have a chat with James. So we've just been having a chat to Harry on how challenging this track is. How does this track suit your driving style?
I don't know about the driving style. It suits my enjoyment very, very much. It's incredible. Particularly the new speckled car we've got, the slick tyres, how stiffer it is. It's a roller coaster ride, and I'm loving every minute of it.
It's been a little bit chilly today. Does that make a huge difference to how these cars behave?
Yes, it makes a slight difference to the tyres, particularly if we go throughout the latter stages of the race. We'll have to see what happens though. We've had spells of sun, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it can make a small difference. So let's keep in mind just where, going around the roller coaster, like I said.
Excellent stuff. Best of luck, James.
Appreciate it.
We will see you out on track very shortly. Now then, championship leader, car number 46, Stephen Nuttall, we'll have a quick chat with him before they get released. Stephen, championship lead still in your grasp. Will it be by the checkered flag?
Well, that's the plan, yeah. So to get a good start and get in the back of these two, so fingers crossed.
Right, we won't delay you any further. They've just released the cars for the first race of the weekend. Caterham 7 Championship gets underway. The final 2 rounds here. See who will come out on top. Stephen Nuttall has a narrow championship lead. Will it be that way by the end of the weekend? Over to the commentary box and Scott Woodwiss.
Thank you very much, Chris. Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to Cadwell Park for another race meeting courtesy of Caterham Motorsport and the British Racing and Sports Car Club. More live coverage as we come towards the tail end of this 2021 season. And it's Caterham Finals weekend. This is where we settle another 3 of the 5 Caterham Championships on the roster. We've already settled 2, in fact, both of the Academy titles, and also the Road Sport title was wrapped up last time at Snetterton, where Taylor O'Fallaghan was crowned provisional champion. We've still got the 7270R, the 7310R, and this, the 7 UK Championship grids to finish. So the cars are making their way around to the grid. It's a smaller grid than we normally would have for the 7 UK Championship. I think there's some drivers either otherwise occupied or unable to compete this weekend, and looking forwards towards next year. One driver who should be on the grid, I'm disappointed that he's not, but I'm at least the silver lining pleased that he's next to me, as he was at Snetterton, is Chris Hutchinson. And Chris, I think first and foremost, you should be out there, but unfortunately qualifying didn't quite go. Well, I think it's an understatement to say it didn't quite go your way, did it?
It didn't, no. It's very surreal to see them all pulling up onto the grid and not being out there with them. But yes, a touch of the grass on slick tyres, and that was the end of my qualifying. And unfortunately, it's the end of my race weekend. So, like you say, silver lining and all, I get to sit here and watch the racing going on.
Well, as the cars head off onto the formation lap for the first of their 3 races this weekend, it's a different format for 2021 as we've had, rather than the 2 half-an-hour races, due to the increased grip and traction and the increased power from the modifications on the 2021 spec Caterham 7 UK Championship car compared to last year's specification. They had to do 3 20-minute races because half-an-hour races in cars that can corner and run this quickly will wear the drivers out quite fast. So the cars, they make their way out onto the formation lap. The grid is as follows. as we say, there was due to be Chris starting towards the back of the grid, but sadly due to his incident qualifying means that we just have the 6. So Henry Heaton starts on pole position, and he's questing as one of 3 drivers for the Caterham 7 Championship UK title. Alongside him on the front row will be number 3, note James Murphy, the black and orange car on screen in front of us here. Then it's Championship leader Stephen Nuttall in the black and gold car, number 46, just going through shot. He starts in 3rd alongside his DPR teammate Gordon Sawyer, who is also in contention for the title. And then it's row 3 for Jake Swan-Dixon in car 66 and car 12 for Chris Albury. And again, we should stress, Chris, the grid is never this small for this Caterham 7 UK Championship. It is a mixture of drivers with other commitments or unable to travel for various reasons, but there is lots of interest for next season, lots of interest from in terms of teams and drivers picking up cars, so everything genuinely is looking promising for next year despite the small number that we've got for the final round.
Yeah, and it is, like I say, only this final round. We've had bigger grids earlier in the year, and it doesn't help when drivers put it in the wall, does it? But equally, like you say, yeah, there's good interest. This car is an incredible machine to drive. It's very rapid, and on the slicks you can see them all having to work it really hard on the way to the grid to get that temperature in those tyres, and really, it's substantially quicker than the 310R even around here, just because it is an absolute weapon. So even though we've got a smaller grid here, you've got plenty of championship intrigue there with all the championship contenders right up there and ready to go. And with 3 races this weekend, there's plenty of points on offer for them to pick up, and everything is still up in the air.
Yeah, don't let the small grid fool you. There is genuine interest for a lot more drivers to come along. They will be back for 2022. So just to quickly give you a rundown of the connotations for the championship. This is directly from Simon Lambert, the chief motorsport officer at Caterham Motorsport. The connotations are as follows: with 81 points available for the 3-race format for Plus Superpole, a lot could happen this weekend. The top 3 championship places will be decided between Steve, Henry and Gordon. However, the few points for Superpole could make the difference. If Henry starts on pole, which he does, and Steve is second, which he isn't, Stephen has only to follow him home in each race to secure the title. So this could be quite an interesting first start to proceedings. So, glad that you're with us for our final main two-day weekend of the season for the Caterham 7 UK Championship. It's a decent start from the front row of the grid. Small little jump from James Murphy's head down towards the left-hander at Coppice for the first time. Up towards the left-hander, it's side by side with Murphy on the outside line, and Heaton trying to defend his pole position. They turn in through Coppice and up through Charlie's for the first time out of sight, and Sawyer forces his way up the inside. So that's crucial for Sawyer. Out of the 3 championship contenders, he's already into a leading position out of those 3. But it's Murphy then who heads the field out of Charlie, up Park Straight and towards Park Corner for the first time. Sawyer with the great run up towards Park Corner, the right-hander at the top of the hill, and now trying to get involved with both Henry Heaton, but he's got his outside, Stephen Nuttall. Turning to the right-hander, there's Jake Swan-Dixon in car 66, keeping close to 5th position. And Gordon Sawyer gets edged out wide, he loses 1 spot again to Henry Heaton and almost gets under attack from Stephen Nuttall. Out of Chris Curve, and now through the gooseneck for the first time, plunging down the hill and towards Mansfield. Very tricky braking zone because you're braking downhill, so the momentum tries to carry you faster into the corner than you want to go. And you continue as you make your way towards the winding complex of the mountain. Towards the end of the first lap. Hold the field together. It winds left and then right and then hop over the mountain. These top spec Caterham 420Rs, you can see, can and do get all 4 wheels off the ground, but so far it seems as though quite a bit of fighting battling, Chris, between the top 3 championship contenders. But as for James Murphy, we know how quick he is by default. Straight into a lead after getting the better of Henry Heaton initially, and effectively he's there simply just to have fun himself. He's not worried about the championship contenders, he's there for himself and himself alone.
He absolutely wants to win this race, yes. Job 1 complete, lap 1 complete. Heaton coming into the outside of turn 1. It's brave around the outside, but we saw Murphy stick it around the outside on the first turner, and it looks like Heaton has done that same thing. So Nuttall will be watching that with interest, and so will Sawyer there. Don't want to let Henry disappear off up the road. But yeah, job 1 complete, lap 1 complete, and now we can settle in and see what happens.
Of course, James is also part of a DPR setup himself, so there's a chance to potentially help both Gordon and Stephen get themselves into championship winning contention. He'll certainly try to do the job. He slots back into the lead with a slipstream up the hill into Park Corner, so he already takes the lead before they hit the brakes. So this is crucial now. The 3 title contenders now line astern, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Not in championship order. It's Heaton in 2nd place, Gordon Sawyer in the black and gold car behind that chrome turquoise car. Heaton runs as an independent. He doesn't run as part of any of the bigger teams, so it's all a self sort of family run operation. And the fact he's been able to take it to some of the bigger teams like DPR and other squads that do run these Caterham cars on a regular basis is very impressive indeed. So Henry himself, of course, is quite a talent in his own right, and certainly proving it at the wheel of one of these cars. Over the mountain for the second time, Chris Aubrey fully off the road. That's one of the great shots of these cars. They're lightweight, they're fast, and they provide some spectacular action and great shots like that on circuits like these.
Yeah, we have epic grip with these slick tyres on this very light car and very capable car, and just as you come up the mountain there, you really get that sort of fling over the top, and it's, yeah, everyone wants that shot, don't they, to hang on their wall. You know, anyone new to watching Caterham racing, the toe in these cars is extremely powerful, and you can see that these 6 cars, while the little gaps appear, Nuttall going down the inside of Sawyer there, so really committed on the inside, but he's going to be on the outside for this next bend, so I don't think that's going to work out overall. But yeah, the toe is so powerful around here, it can be worth maybe 7/10 of a second, something like that. So we are seeing these cars, while the gaps might appear, we'll see them disappear again as the race progresses.
You know, these cars are quite aerodynamic. They do make for some great racing, as Chris has advocated, and they can go side by side and nose to tail pretty easy. Case in point, side by side for the lead and for third. Murphy holds on in the front, whilst it's still wheel to wheel between the 2 DPR teammates, and Jake Swan-Dixon and Chris Aubrey staying in close contention. So even though there's only a 6-car field, they are the silver lining of it is they're all staying very close, and it's still looking like it's a very competitive race so far at the front of this field. So we've only had 4 minutes of racing so far. Everyone's staying in a close bunch together. Lock up from Nuttall as he turns in through Mansfield. Now they back up through the gears again, through that Sadef sequential gearbox, and then punch down through it again as they come back towards the mountain. Murphy still leads. It's Heaton in second place. Then it's Nuttall third, Sawyer fourth. And it's Brett Swan-Dixon in fifth and Chris Aubrey in sixth. Another leap over the mountain there for Jake Swan-Dixon. It's his turn to get all 4 wheels off the road. They swing through the hall bends. This wonderful sequence of corners. I actually learned that this sequence of the circuit, this towards the final few corners, has essentially remained unchanged since the circuit first opened back in 1938. So this is almost coming up to sort of 85, 90 years old worth of the circuit, but that original layout stays as it is. And this is a proper old school circuit. This current layout's been involved around since about, with extended section towards the top of the circuit, since about 1961, but it's one of those proper old school circuits. It's been pretty much untouched over the last 60 years, and it's a magnificent venue to go racing.
Yeah, it's unlike anything I've ever raced at before. It's narrow as you like, and yeah, the grass is right up to the edge of the track, and it's, yeah, like you say, old school, and the old halls bend as you hate, and looking at the outside. He tried that last time, but Murphy was able to hold him off, so hopefully we'll see what happens this time round, and we'll see whether Murphy manages it again. Murphy's very late on the brakes there, but not enough to hold back Heaton that time round. Nuttall slotting up and maintaining his third place ahead of Sawyer there. Front 4 of this race, champions all in Caterham, so they know what they're doing. You'll see some really, you know, it comes down to strategy sometimes, but yes, narrow track, not forgiving at all, and those old hall bends are really excellent to drive, especially when you've got slicks under you like this.
I mean, you hear narrow track, you automatically think it's something like Monaco or the Hungaroring, where it's very tricky to overtake. Not quite so the case. There are slightly wider parts around the circuit, but you can get cars side by side and make moves. So this is certainly where drivers can look for the opportunities, try and find those gaps and try and make it through. Really pass over the mountain, but cars can do go side by side. Jake Swan-Dixon fully off the road. This is the reason why we love these top-level occasions, because they can do things like that over the mountain.
He's going to need a pilot's licence soon if he carries on like that, isn't he, as well as his driving licence. I know he's out powerboating next year as well, so he's using all different mediums to go racing, isn't he?
I think he also does super light grass track racing as well, so there's all sorts that literally land, sea and air, basically whatever Jake Swan-Dixon races. Henry Eaton with the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 30.147, so looking pretty quick around here. I was going to check what the overall lap record was. I think that was set by an F1000, so I don't think we're quite there. But I was going to probably double check it whilst we're having a look at the rest of this race, which is coming up towards half distance now. We've got about 3.5 minutes before we hit the half distance mark in this 20-minute race. It's still Heaton that leads then, Murphy in second place, but he leads a DPR 234 at the moment, because it's himself from forgot the name, Stephen Nuttall and then Gordon Sawyer. I was so engrossed in what was going to go on for second place now, I almost forgot the names. So Murphy then in second place, and this is the key thing, because even though second, third and fourth are in the same team, you have to remember 2 of them are in the championship contention. One of them, I guess, will help where it might be necessary when it's necessary, but at the moment literally James is being allowed to race for himself, and I think rightfully so, because essentially even though he's not in the championship hunt, doesn't matter, he's got the paces at the front, and if he wants to go for the win, he's going to go for the win.
Like everyone else, they're there on their own independent back. You know, they want to win the race for themselves. You know, they're all absolute racers. So yeah, I don't think teams actually comes into it too much, especially when you put the helmet on, and it's, you know, it's not like the Formula 1 with team orders or anything like that. So certainly you want to look out for each other, and don't want to cause incident for each other. But nevertheless, you want to win that race, and that's what they will all be doing then as they come down here to start another lap. Heaton actually looking like he's got a bit of a sort of a comfort gap there, but even up the back straight last time out, he looked the same, but James was right back on his tail by the time they got up to the top of the circuit.
Dipped into the 129s now. Stephen Nuttall with a 129.7. Top 5 starting to lead Chris Aubrey behind now. He's back in 6th place at this point, as the top 5, as you can see on the top left of your screen on the timing tower, covered by 1.5 seconds, so incredibly competitive towards the front. And top 3 are starting to gap Gordon Sawyer now, because he's not in the shot, and here comes Murphy with the toe up Park Straight towards Park Corner. So now on lap 6, down the outside he goes for the lead. Heaton breaks a little bit later, but Murphy with a better grip around the outside sweeps through, holds us the position as they turn him through the right-hander. So top 5 as it was, but no change so far.
Yep, obviously we've done 2 days of testing leading up to this, so Chris actually only did 1 day yesterday, but nevertheless they're now finding out what's possible in these new cars in a racing condition. So, you know, whether it's possible to go around the outside, whether, you know, where the best place to be at each particular point of the race is. So they're learning every single lap, every single corner, what they want to do and how they're going to actually, you know, what's the best position for them to be at the end of the race so that they can maximise their scores.
Another leap from Jake Swan-Dixon over the mountain. That's a shot I'm never going to get tired of. I was checking the actual lap record. It was set actually this year, last time a couple of months ago when we came back here with the British Supercar Championship. The lap record now is held by Sam Moss in the Division 1 Supercar. 121.036 around this circuit. So they are lapping incredibly quickly. Not quite supercar quick, but they are some of the fastest sports cars that you'll find out there racing in the UK. Top 5 again across the line. Another new fastest lap. James Murphy now lowers the time to 1 minute 29.7. So only just by a few hundredths of a second as we approach half distance. Chris Aubrey having a slightly more lonely race out there this afternoon, but he'll try and pick that up towards the second race later on. Everyone just close it back up again. Look at that, all 3 of them close together. Nuttall has the double toe as Heaton pulls out to go side by side up Park Straight towards Park Corner, and now you saw that Nuttall was in the toe of Heaton. He's going to try and make it through. It's almost 3 abreast as Heaton goes to the middle of the track. And look at Jake Swan-Dixon looking for 4th round the outside of Sawyer into Park Corner. He's got the confidence to try and make a move, and that's not going to help Gordon Sawyer one bit, but those who have come to blows previously more than one occasion. I remember back in Knock Hill when they kind of both came to go for the same piece of track, neither of them would yield, and it led to contact that ultimately put Sawyer out of the race. And that's going to be crucial, of course, this weekend, particularly the 3 championship contenders. Again, forget the number of cars on the grid. These 3 drivers cannot afford one single mistake or slip up, particularly drivers like Gordon Sawyer who've had those mishaps in the past. He can't afford to bang wheels and to get into that kind of battle that he did with Knock Hill, because if he does that, that's championship over. That really can't be the thing that can matter, as Gordon Sawyer thinks, right, time for me to have a go at the flying contest at the mountain, and he got proper big air. In fact, the rear of the car was higher than the front. That was extraordinary.
We can actually adjust the angle of the car using the throttle. It's when, you know, a bit like you're on your motorbikes jumping, you can adjust the angle based on whether you got your throttle on or not. But yeah, Heaton there again with that gap. But you're right, Sawyer there back in 5th place is not where he wants to be right now. And with 10 minutes to go, you know, these races go quick because we've only got a 20-minute race. We're halfway through already, over halfway. So he now needs to start making that way forward. And Jake Swan-Dixon is the man that looks like he is making those moves. But we've got the 2 championship contenders there, 1 and 2 out front, with Heaton out ahead of Nuttall at the moment, but Nuttall got the long straight ahead of him now to gain that time back.
Yeah, so he will now try and pull in. Now Sawyer's the one that's having to sit and watch and fall back as Jake Swan-Dixon goes for 3rd on Murphy on the outside again towards Park Corner. Now Nuttall gets the move done before they hit the brakes, but Heaton goes back round the outside and thinks, not on your life, Stephen, back through into the lead I go if you don't mind. And Murphy now, because of all that move, has gone straight on the tail of them, as has also Swan-Dixon, and Sawyer's back into the mix as well. I'm sure Chris Aubrey's looking back in 6th saying, guys, can I be a part of this? Can I play too? But he's going to try and find a bit more pace to do so. But great 5-car scrap at the front here as they come towards the left-hander at Mansfield again. So on lap 8, we've still got 8.5 minutes to go in this first Caterham 7 Championship UK race. Wins the championship. He'll be the 2nd ever driver alongside John Byrne to earn the prestigious title of British Catering Champion, because it is a officially recognised national motorsport championship by Motorsport UK. So if you win this championship, you are a British Catering Champion. So John Byrne has it from last year. That was his 2nd top flight Caterham motorsport title in a row, but he decided to move on to pastures new, or at least give the opportunity for somebody else to have a title. And in this case now it's been between these 3 effectively all season, between Heaton, current leader Nuttall and Sawyer, who's back in 5th. That's where it starts to get crucial. 7 3/4 minutes to go. Look at how close the lap times are. Everyone lapping within 0.3 of a second of each other. This is a competitive 5 cars at the front of the field, and they're incredibly evenly matched. It really is one slip up, and there goes your momentum. And
it's all about accuracy, this track. So you can see how accurate they're all being, and equally, you know, they're putting the cars in all the right places. And you see Swan Dixon here on the outside of Murphy. So Murphy slipped back a little bit at this point, so he's going to be not wanting that. Again, he's been very good on the brakes into this park bend. This is where the most of the action's been taking place so far in this car. We've seen some around the turn 1 as well, but the park is certainly the one where you arrive at, and you need to start making that progress up there, don't you?
You do, particularly with the incredibly strong slipstream that you get with these cars. And Park Corner appears to be, or sort of the exit of Charlie's on Park Straight, that appears to be the crucial part of the circuit. If you can get a good run there and stay close, that gives you the drag in these Caterhams all the way up Park Straight in order to get towards Park Corner. And you've got the option of passing outside or inside. It's possible at either side of that corner, depending on which way you go. Leaping over the mountain again, coming up towards the end of lap 9, still 6.5 minutes to go. There's Chris Aubrey in the background, you can see just back in 6th. And Sawyer, of course, not exactly where he wants to be back in 5th, because, of course, the couple of places that he loses, that's losing invaluable points in the battle for the title between himself and these two at the front, Henry and Stevens. Of course, Stephen Nuttall, the points leader coming into the weekend, but Henry Heaton on his tail, and Gordon Sawyer keeping a watching brief in 3rd. James Murphy and Jake Swan Dixon, the sort of anomalies, if you like, the ones that aren't really in a championship fight, but they're there simply just to enjoy themselves, to prove their pace. And the fact that they'll be around them, given that these 3 run a championship fight, that'll give them that confidence for going for next year, particularly James Murphy, who I know that at the start of the season just wanted to get a really good result, use this year to learn and see what results he could get. From the first round, he got a victory, and for him, I spoke to him at Knock Hill, and he said, that's enough for me. I've got my kind of goal of getting a good result. Now I'm using the rest of the year to learn, to get used to the car, to how it feels around the circuits, so I can make a proper full assault on the championship for 2022. This is going to give him, if it hadn't already, a massive confidence boost in his pace towards next year, because he can carry that momentum into 2022, and I'm certain he'll be a big bet for the championship next year.
I mean, we always say it's a 2-year project to work into this top level of Caterham Motorsport. It takes a year to really get used to it, get to grips with it. He did so quickly at Donington, but while we've been talking, has also noticed that Nuttall is back out in front of Heaton, so he managed to do that move up into park. There was, again, a gap appearing every now and again, as we see all leaping. It's a great shot, isn't it? It's just so fantastic to see that. And yeah, so Nuttall back out in front where he wants to be, although we have said that there are sort of situations where he can just follow Heaton through if he needs to. Here's Chris Aubrey, again, maybe suffering from that, just one day of testing rather than the 2 here, just trailing along a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, he was quite competitive at the beginning of the race, but towards this sort of second half, he's faded a little bit, so maybe going to try and find a bit more pace. Before we go back to the drawing board and have a chat with the Williams Automobiles squad, see if they can pick
Got 3 races to work it out, Scott. Yeah. It's it was a long time on track.
I just saw there just the pace of the cars. I watched just them the force of them pushing through the air, just pushing the grass side on the right hand side. It's a wonderful shot to see. Here's that crucial corner, we think, exiting Charlie's and up Park Straight. This is where the momentum is all crucial to get the slipstream. Swan Dixon lining up Murphy, likewise Heaton on Nuttall. They're going to go 2 by 2 up towards the top of the hill. Big lock up for Nuttall as he tries to hold on to the lead, which he does. Heaton tried the switchback, but he couldn't quite make it quick enough alongside to make that happen. So now it's backed into Murphy and Swan Dixon, and Sawyer's still in there, but again, whether it's just the nature of the circuit in terms of not catching the cars in the wrong spots, or simply just not having the ultimate pace to be able to overhaul Swan Dixon and then get around the top 3. Either Sawyer's just keeping his powder dry until the last couple of minutes as Murphy runs wide on the exit of Mansfield and allows Swan Dixon through. I think he's possibly going to also see Sawyer charge past as well. He doesn't, so I think again Sawyer was looking for that opportunity, but if he's keeping his powder dry a little bit. I spoke too soon, round he goes, and that's one of the championship contenders in trouble. So Gordon Sawyer, that at least means that he will be, well, at least 5th. In fact, Chris Aubrey goes fast, that means he will be down to 6th at the back of the field. Gordon Sawyer, well, he is quite flamboyant at most times, but unfortunately he was flamboyant at right at the wrong moment, and that certainly would have had quite a dent on his potential championship chances. Yeah,
slightly awkward and compromised entry into that corner. It's very easy to start. If you lose it on the left-hander, then the car very rarely comes back. There's a Heaton up the inside here of turn 1. We said that was another opportunity to overtake, and he has made that. But that means he's out front going into Park Straight. Last time out, Nuttall defended at the top of here, which is the first time we've kind of seen that. So that was an interesting thing to see right on the last lap. But again, we've got Nuttall with a brilliant run coming up over the rise and back into our new camera we'll see whether he's made that stick.
I think the one person you have to watch out for is Jake Swan-Dixon. Look at him, he's in 3rd place. He's got past James Murphy, and now he's on Nuttall car 66. There he is. As far as I know, he hasn't won a Caterham race in the time he's been racing here. So, in the fact he's in the lead group, there is every chance he could do this. Of course, and again, in his own right, complete disregard for the championship title, which again, is no reason why not. Essentially, he's racing for himself. So, if he wants to get his elbows out and get amongst the championship contenders, they might complain and say, well, you're not past the championship. But to him, in a nice way, he's not really going to bother about that. He wants to go for the result. He wants to go and get a result that will give him a really good confidence boost into next season. If he wants to go for the victory, and look at the pace he's got, he'll go for it, and he deserves to in many cases, because he's got the space. And James Murphy in the ever-present Caterham leaping contest continues to go even higher. I think he set the new benchmark there. It's like high jump, isn't it? They keep trying to beat the previous height every time they go forwards. 2 minutes to go in this first 7 Championship UK race. And yeah, Swan-Dixon has the potential, but at the moment the focus seems to be on the current 2 championship contenders of Nuttall and Heaton, with Nuttall now the points leader coming into the weekend in front, and Heaton's not comfortable because he knows that Swan-Dixon's got good pace as he comes to the second to last lap.
Yeah, he's the man that's moved forward, isn't he? And he can throw caution to the wind, and he doesn't have to worry about the championship. The other two do, and that's certainly going to be a good... I mean, it's where Nuttall wants to be now, out front with Jake Swan-Dixon acting as interference. Henry is going to have to look forward and backward, and that is always an uncomfortable place to be. As drivers, we get used to that kind of driving in your mirrors and looking out front. He had a little bit more extra speed coming out of that was it Charlie's or Chris Curve, I'm not sure, and he's just sitting there in 3rd, but equally with 1 minute to go, we've got 1 lap after this one. There's still that one chance to go to get in front of them.
So Heaton was then gutsy on the outside into Park Corner, now through a long, almost multiple apex right-hander of Chris Curve before they filter back through the gooseneck and they plunge downhill down towards Mansfield. So Heaton then a little wide on the exit, but he had to really throw the block into Mansfield. He was very quick to get back to the inside line to stop Nuttall from taking full advantage of that. Now we see Swan-Dixon on the back foot. He's the one defending from Murphy, so they come back towards the complex at the mountain. There goes Murphy taking a look up the inside for 3rd place and has to back out of it. He runs deep into the first part of the mountain. That's lost him a few car lengths as they come back through towards the Hall Bends now for the second to last time. This is lap 13, so we'll have one more time around with about 30 seconds left on the clock. Sawyer, meanwhile, is still going, but he's lost so much time getting back going again. He's way behind by about 11 seconds or so, Chris Aubrey. I think that gap probably will come down a little bit more, given the fact that he's got quite a lot of pace on his own. So Heaton then has got one more time around this Cadwell part circuit to try and defend, to take victory in the first of this Caterham 7 Championship UK races here this weekend at Cadwell Park. In through Coppice.
But is first place the place you want to be going into turn 1 here? We've still got the long part straight, and Nuttall, I think, might be in the championship point here. But equally, there's Henry backing him up there on the entry into trying to sort of compromise his run up the straight. And it does mean he's starting a lot closer than he'd like to get that slingshot. But here we come up an important bend at the top of the hill.
Side by side for the lead in for 3rd, and Nuttall gets himself in front before they hit the brakes as for 3rd place. Murphy sends it round the outside of Swan-Dixon and goes for the position. So James Murphy, I don't call him Superman for nothing. There's been contact somewhere, but I did notice a few corners back that Swan-Dixon's left rear was smoking. That'll be it won't be the mechanical smoke, it's possibly the bodywork that's rubbing on the rear tyre, but he's sort of less than a lap to go, so he should be okay. Murphy's also missing the rear wheel. You can see the left rear wing, it's folded in alongside it, as now it's nose to tail. There's a bit of a shaky run through Mansfield there, and looking up the inside, there's a piece of bodywork. I think that's the bodywork that I think Swan-Dixon or somebody's lost in the back of that car. But anyway, through the mountain for the last time, it's nose to tail. Enough has been practically pushed over the mountain by Heaton. Over the crest they go towards Hall Bends. Heaton has to get the brakes on because he looked for the inside through the Hall Bends, but he couldn't make it through. This could be a sprint to the finish between the top 2 championship contenders. Murphy and Swan-Dixon will be close. It will be a 4-car train up towards the checkered flag for our first race of the weekend here at Cadwell Park on Caterham Finals weekend. Now the sprint to the line. Is it going to be Heaton, Nuttall or somebody else? Nuttall's managed to keep himself in front up towards the checkered flag and points it to Nuttall. Will take the first victory of the weekend. Nuttall wins, Heaton 2nd, Murphy 3rd and Swan-Dixon the top 4 covered by 0.8 of a second at the flag. But it's Chris Aubrey in 5th, and then rather, I'm sure, incredibly disappointed and frustrated Gordon Sawyer, who in many cases has unfortunately only himself to blame. He made the mistake up at the mountain, tried a little bit too hard and just let over exuberance get the better of him in that point.
Yeah, we didn't see the exact incident, but I know how easy it is to lose the rear around there, and maybe it was just a mile an hour or two extra. But it could also be where it backs up, you know, if it concertina effect, where all the cars were sort of dicing there, and with the concertina effect, I mean, you've got nowhere to go other than avoidance and therefore an incident. But he has crossed the line. Nuttall there constructed that win very nicely, didn't he? It didn't always look like he was out front and comfortable. In fact, he didn't look like that at all, but he absolutely was in the right place at the right time, which seemed to be second place coming into turn 1 on that final lap. Henry Heaton did the best he could to compromise that, but yeah, here we see the results. We've got Stephen Nuttall in first place. We've got Henry Heaton following it home, just a 10th behind in second. Then we got James Murphy on the final spot of the podium in 5/10 back. Swan Dixon looking good through that race in 4th. Chris Aubrey 5th, and then we had Gordon Sawyer in 6th place.